As a bonus, I'm going to show you this game of League of Ragers. Since now 2v2 mode is gone, people are evidently continuing to play it in solo queue. The game begins with a privileged mage drowning in a river of tears shed by all other mages in Demacia who are persecuted. Then there is your typical first blood in bot lane. This time it's Shiny Forehead shutting Lux down just as the moon erases the sun at night. Yes, erases. You really thought the sun just went to sleep at night? What are you, 4 years old? After that, Yasuo remembers he has exhaust and screws both of us over with it, just to end up dashing into the tower range because true Yasuo main dashes through every enemy unit available. Sometime later, I try to contest Drake, but then I encounter every disease of this world in one body, surprisingly dying to that. I'm casually getting harassed by my bot lane partner because supports are just cattle. But don't worry, if Lux got away, I would get pinged at as well. It is just like mental illness, you get used to it. Just like in 2012, there were just two options, either Justin Bieber or One Direction. I chose the wrong direction and felt something hard enter my body. A few deaths later, I press my R button. Sometimes even little things can raise your mood. At least that is what you think after spending the night with a girl. But suspiciously enough, she never called you back. Yasuo dashing through everything, Lux walking melee range to press her R. This must be gold elo. I think Shiny Forehead's mother came to bully him for not washing dishes because this time I didn't get ferocious pinging for taking the kill. After finishing off Tentacle Mommy, me and Emo Child pull out something from a bag titled "We Are Dumb, but We Are Lucky." But eventually we lose this game because Nunu went AFK, probably thanks to Diana's toxicity. Same Diana that is currently posting on Reddit essay about how she'd be leaving the game more heavily penalized. So I picked Caitlyn as support. It is a case of a champion being buffed so much that it is literally viable in any role. So viable that even such a marksman anti-talent as I am can make it work. But if you can afford AD carry with brain, like this prettiest skin in the game Abuser, it gets much easier. If you were to be slightly better, you wouldn't sit with all traps ready and would be able to combo E with your Q. One of the big benefits of playing champion with the longest range in the game as support is the ease with which you can charge your support item. Boys and those 3 girls that will rather hide their gender to not be chased down by all those guys that put up their tent when they see Caitlyn's ass. This is a chart of how many of you are subscribers and how many of you are just lurkers. Do something about it. If I was able to pull out the E and Q combo, it would kill Lulu. Then we get a visit from Annie. She arrives here shortly before the second coming of Yasuo because it was evidently such a good design that they had to copy it. It could get ugly, but luckily I took exhaust as I take on all ranged supports since I never get close enough to low HP enemies to use Ignite to finish them off. But exhaust can be used against high damage potential bruisers and assassins to screw them over. But not all of the assassins. Champions that can use their whole kit in an instant, such as Talon or Rengar, you won't have time to use exhaust on them in time. Here, I underestimated Kai'Sa's burst potential, so I ended up dead. Maybe placing a trap in front of a champion that is about to walk in a straight line would make sense as well. It might seem tempting to use your long range ability instead of fighting. After all, it is your ultimate move, but more often than not, you would be better off auto-attacking and using your basic abilities. A few seconds later, you can see what I am talking about. I am just standing there and auto-attacking as an Iron 80 carry, doing much more than I did with my R. And if I hadn't used my R before, I could have finished Lulu now easily in case she dodges Jin's R. If you see an enemy approaching, you should save your traps and try to predict their movement. The only exception is if you can block off some choke points. In this situation, I could also use my E to slow down Beyblade to create some space for Jin. I know that Kai'Sa is really popular nowadays, but you can't 1v3 when you are behind. Thank you for understanding that. The difference between me and players at the top of the ladder is surprisingly none. You can play this game for years and you will still fail Flash from time to time. A beautiful execution of using point-click ultimate ability by none other than Ultimate Johnny. Communication is really important, boys. Make sure your bot lane partner has the same mental disability as you do, or you might end up taking that fight while he backs. At this point, we are so far ahead that we can run at them as little children do when they see a cat, making them run for their lives. If you thought that this was a perfectly calculated kill steal, thank you, but no. On the other hand, this one was calculated. It even has the element of the BDSM enjoyer almost making it to the bathroom before shitting his pants. This one reminds me of that situation where you would literally rather spend 5 minutes trying to pick up that dirty sock with your foot than touching it. But in the end, we can pretend it was just strategic play, like, AD carry positioning and stuff. Anywho, I leave you Johnnyless now.